Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for joining me again. Today's video is going to be my weaning essentials. So giving you a little idea of the kinds of things that I have been using ever since I started weaning Grayson at 6 months old. So if you are due to start weaning soon, or you're currently weaning and just looking for recommendations, then keep watching. So the first thing that I need to talk about is the high chair. Now, there are a lot of high chairs on the market, but I have used one high chair for all three of my boys. I'm talking about the Stocky Trip Trap high chair. It's fantastic. Not only is it so stylish and it looks really great in your kitchen, it's also really functional and it lasts so long. It really does grow with your child. And we got Grayson the grey coloured Stocky high chair, and the one thing that we did this time around that we didn't do with my older two boys, we got the newborn insert. So it's like an insert that you can place on top that a newborn can sit in, and the purpose of this is that it means you can then put them in there safely. It's got a harness, so it's like a chair, and they can then sit up at the dining table with you while you're eating meals, which is so good, because with my first two, we used to just kind of bring our little bouncy chair over while we were eating, and it's kind of on the floor, and if they were awake, it doesn't really feel like they're involved. So it was really lovely having Grayson right up, sitting in his high chair around the table while my boys and my husband and I ate, so we were all together. I think it also really got him used to sitting at the table and got him used to his high chair. So once he kind of grew out of that newborn insert, just before he started weaning, I would put him into the high chair, and I also got the high chair tray that comes with it, and I would put a few toys on there just to kind of get him used to sitting there, which I think really helped just before we started weaning. So I used to put like some of his play food there that he could play with while he sat there with me while I ate before he started to eat too. And the great thing is you can remove that high chair tray, and you can, when they're a bit older, and you can then push the high chair straight up against the table, and you can put their plates on the table. And also you can adjust the seat, so you can make, as their feet get longer and their legs get longer, you can then adjust that as well. Even an adult can sit on it, so it's really fantastic. That high chair has worked really well. It's really super easy to clean, which is obviously really good because they do get messy. With Grayson, I did a kind of a combination, I would say, of baby-led weaning and also some purees. And I found that this combination really worked well. With my first child, I did purees kind of only. With my second child, I did baby-led weaning only. So this time it seemed right to combo do it, and it really worked well for me. So the kinds of things that I used at the beginning in terms of things to feed with, these spoons you see a lot of on the market, and they are really great if you're just doing purees. But to be honest with you, he was holding a lot of his food from the beginning, and I didn't find a need massively for them, but they're good to have on hand if you are going to be spoon feeding them little bits to begin with. Spoons that I found worked really well were by a company called Kids, and they are these spoons, and they're called dip spoons, and they're really innovative because, as you can see, they are flat with ridges here, and the idea is that you can load these spoons up, so if it's like porridge or a meal like that, you can dip it in. The food is really good at sticking to all these grooves, so it means it doesn't fall off the minute kind of baby takes it. Baby can take it, and it's got all these holes that are really great for baby's fingers to instantly grip it and not drop it, and they can then start to feed themselves. It also has these special nodules which help encourage the suck reflex inside their mouth, so it will encourage them to suck the food off, and I have found these just so super. Like I say, I've got two, so I will often load one up, leave it on his high chair tray for him to pick up, or hand it to him, and I'll get the other one loaded up ready, so when he's finished with that one, we swap. Because what you'll find often is baby will have the spoon in his mouth, and you'll go to try and take it out to load it up again, and they don't want to let go. But if you come at them with another loaded spoon, they're more likely to swap with you. So yes, those are really good. And then from the same company, I also have really liked their sip cups. Now, Grayson is the first baby that I have used these kind of open cups with, right from when he started weaning, right from 6 months old, and it's fantastic. I always used to hear about it and think it was amazing that young babies could really be drinking from an open cup like that, and this just makes the whole process really easy. So it's a little cup. I'll show you. It's really quite small, and you put it inside this silicone bit, and this is so grippy. Again, it's got all those nice little holes. It's ergonomically designed so that baby can grip that. As soon as baby picks it up, their little fingers are gripping that, and at first I would obviously guide it with him, because we did have a few of those, but it's so small it doesn't matter. I would kind of help him, but now he can pick that up himself and he can drink it himself. So that is one that I would really recommend. There are a few on the market, but like I say, I find the design of this one really good. Another kind of fork and spoon set that we used right from the beginning were these grab ease ones. These are little forks and little spoons. They're nice and safe. As you can see, they've kind of got this like flower kind of bit around the bottom of the spoon and the fork, which means that baby can't shove the whole thing and it can go sort of too far down. It stops just there. Again, the little handles are really easy for that initial clutch that the baby has before fine motor skills are developed. So I found these really good. It meant that I could kind of spear certain things, bits of pasta, things like that. He could then take it and could eat it. So those definitely we used quite a bit as well. In terms of what we would put the food on a plate, obviously right at the beginning, I would just put a few bits of food onto his high chair. But then quite soon after that, we started to use the most fantastic plates, and we haven't used anything else, and they are the bamboo plates. The bamboo plates are amazing for so many reasons. They are made of bamboo, which is super amazing for the environment. They come in all different animal designs and you'll fall in love with them. They look so sweet, and they've got lovely different kind of compartments for you to put different bits of food in. They come with suction that you stick onto the back of there, and this suction is second to none. It just doesn't move. So a lot of ones that I found that were suction plates, I would put on the high chair, and Grayson was very strong from very early on, and he would just whip the whole thing up, whereas these stay put once you put them on. So they have suction like that, and then you've got your wooden plate. So this is a specially designed one for early weaning, so it's slightly smaller, meaning you can just put kind of small amounts of food in it. As they get sort of a bit further along in their weaning, the plates get a little bit bigger, and again, there's just so many lovely designs. The hedgehog, we love the bunny. I love the different compartments here, so sometimes I would kind of put his savoury bits here, a bit of yogurt and a bit of fruit, and it's all there then. And I think it's really important to have that plate of food in front of them from early on, getting them used to not having to grab everything and whiz it away. I think if you keep a plate away from them for too long into their weaning, they don't really know how to kind of deal once they have a plate in front of them. So having this suctioned down on his high chair and he's able to see all his food is really great. These plates I really like. I use these not just with Grayson, with my older boys too, because these lollipop plates, which are super cute, are also kind of like snack plates. So I put snacks on them for my older boys. A larger plate, which is a panda, and this is actually the size of an adult dinner plate, so you can eat on them too. They're ethically sourced, they wash really well, and in order to just maintain them, you every few months get some coconut oil and rub it all over them, leave it for a little while overnight, and then give them a wipe over, and that just keeps the bamboo all lovely. So I would definitely recommend those. Along with those plates, there are some spoons, and these are, I would probably say, are the spoons we use the most, my go-to spoons. They're lovely because they're silicone. Grayson loves eating off them. He just seems to like that texture the best. He finds these really easy to hold, and I can also hold them and help him. They come in all matching colours. They kind of match the colours of the silicone base, and like I say, really lovely size, and we've got on so well with these. Now that Grayson's 14 months, I have been looking at just a few other bits of cutlery to start to help him really feed himself, because I'm still kind of doing a fair bit for him. And I found these ones from Doddle, which I think this is the next size up. You get a size from like about 6 months to 12 months, and then as they get a bit bigger, I think this is the one for slightly older babies. And again, they're kind of ergonomically designed so that baby can hold them easily, and I saw lots of friends using them who really recommended them. We've just started using them. So they've got the kind of silver bit here, so it's getting them used to eating off of that rather than the silicone. And yeah, I would definitely say that we're getting on well with those. Like I said, Grayson drinks from an open cup, and then once he started to kind of snack while we were out, you know, as they get a bit older, they do a bit of that, and started to have a bit more water rather than just breastfeeding. I just started using these, and these are what I've used with all my boys. They're so cheap and they're so good. The only annoying thing is, I don't know about you, they can can never, I mean there I've got it off, but I can never get the lid off without drenching myself in whatever is in there. But they're really simple sippy cups, and you don't have to suck to get it out, so they are free flow, which I think is good. And 2 little handles, really super easy for him to use. One other thing I wanted to talk about when we started weaning, one thing that we used a lot of, I used to make little kind of popsicles, and I found in the early days this was a really great way of kind of getting a lot of different fruit and veg in. It also was super good for when he was teething and he had sore gums, and it meant he could easily hold it. And it was just really good for baby-led weaning. I used these molds, which are from Newbie, and I would just fill these little sections with, like I say, I would make a smoothie, and I could put lots of goodness in them, like green smoothie, and then you just pop that in and pop it in the freezer, and then you can really easily pull these out, and it will have the kind of green popsicle or whatever popsicle you've made on it, and it's really super easy for them to hold and suck. So I would definitely recommend, if you're starting weaning, to make up some smoothies like that, and then freeze them so that they can feed themselves. Once Grayson kind of got to the age where, like I say, we started to eat out and I needed to bring food along for him, I did have a look into different kind of little lunch boxes that we could have just to make it easier. And one that I do use a lot for him is the Yum Box, and that's because the Yum Box is really great in that it has all these different compartments inside, and it does not spill. So you can put kind of like yogurt or liquid in there, and it just completely seals here when you close it, and nothing is going to leak out. And I really like the little small compartments that it's got, so it means I can kind of put little bits and bobs for him in there and close it up, and it doesn't take up much space. And then I just got this little insulated bag from Skip Hop. This one is a bat, which I think is super cute, and it's just about the right size. It has a little clip here, so I just attach that to the buggy, and it's got his Yum Box in it, and then it means that when we're on the go he can have snacks or lunch when we're out. So like I said, I did do a fair amount of baby-led weaning and a few kind of homemade purees, but one thing I did want to mention just at the end in terms of like food is that puree pouches and those kind of food snacks are not the devil. I know that there's always been a bit of judgment perhaps about people using pouches and things like that. I just think that if they are used alongside, mostly obviously doing your best and making homemade food, but when you're out and about, some of these snacks can be really handy. And also the pouches that they're making these days, some of them are really super, you know. One that we use a lot is the My Little Piccolo. And what I really like about these ones is that they're not really loaded up with the fruit. I think you can find a lot of these pouches, once you look on the back, are actually like 80% apple, and then, you know, the other veg that they state on the front is only a very small percentage. These ones I love, particularly these new Mighty Squeeze snack pouches, and that is because the ingredients are amazing. So this one, for example, there's a green, a red and an orange one. I get them all. This one is pear, pea, banana, avocado, amaranth and mint. So really lovely flavors. So the orange one has got turmeric in it, and he loves these. He just drinks them out of there. And I just think, as a quick snack when you're on the go and times are hard, definitely nothing wrong with those. Another range that we absolutely love and just can't get enough of is organics. Obviously there's the rice cakes. I've got them coming out my ears, the apple rice cakes, all the different flavors. So we love the rice cakes. They're just great. You know, I know that they're not massively nutritious. It's not a meal, but it's great for a snack. They've got these fairly new ones, which are kind of like kid-friendly jammy dodgers. They're jammy monsters. All my boys love these, so they're really good. All the ingredients are always organic and no added nasties in them, which is what I love about organics. These ones go down really well with my boys as well. The mini gingerbread men, and Grayson has just started to kind of have a few of those. He really enjoys those. Popcorn is really nice. This is an apple and cinnamon one. They call them puff corn, and there's also a banana one there. So Kiddylicious, these wafers, when they're little, are really good. There's like a strawberry one and a blueberry one, and they just kind of melt on the tongue. So they can be really good. You know what these can be really good for? They can be really good just to start to get them understanding, holding things, putting them to their mouth and feeding themselves. So something like these work really well because it doesn't disintegrate completely in their hand before they've even started. They hold strong, but then once they get to their mouth, it does start to melt. So I would definitely recommend these. And then as they get older, Kiddylicious do this, which is one thing that I use a lot, which I love. It just makes things so much simpler because it's all in one pot. So it's a hummus dip. So you've got the hummus there and you've got some little breadsticks, and that is a great one for on the go. One thing I would say about weaning is it can get so messy. I think whichever way you do it, but definitely if you're doing baby led and you're just kind of letting them go with the flow. So one thing that we used a lot of in the early days when we first started was the cheeky wipes. And these are like little flannels that you pre-soak in a box with a little bit of essential oil, and then they're kind of moist and ready to go for when you need to wipe up. And then there's like a little dirty box that you get, again, that you fill with some water and essential oil. You pop your dirty ones in there in a little drawstring bag, and then when you're ready and it's full up, you just take the drawstring bag out, whack it in the washing machine, and then they're ready to use again. So they're a really good ethical kind of way so that you're not constantly using baby wipes and things. We use those in the early days. Now he doesn't get as messy, so we don't use them so much, but I would say definitely invest in like a good mop, and maybe like a spray mop and a good dustpan and brush, because you will be down on your knees a lot. But I have got one item which I must say is probably one of my most favorite weaning items that completely eradicated about 95% of all that stuff on the floor, and that is the bib that we use. So I know, again, there's a lot of bibs on the market, and we used a fair few. Definitely with the Zach, I remember just only using the one that kind of goes around there and has the little bit that collects, and I remember just his arms, because obviously their arms go and everything, and I used to ruin so many outfits. So with Eduardo, I did start to try and buy those coverall ones, which definitely are the way to go. At first I was a bit like, oh God, it feels like I'm putting a whole outfit on him, but trust me, you need it. And then with Grayson, I discovered this company because they weren't around with my first two, and it is Bibadoo. Bibadoo make coverall bibs. So this is the gorgeous penguin Christmassy one, and so they're coveralls. They've got arms, and then they're really tight fitting, so nothing goes down the arm. They do up with Velcro at the back, so it's really nice around there, nothing goes down. And then at the bottom, there is this, which is Velcro, and you attach it underneath your high chair tray, and it will attach under anything, you know, any kind of high chair that you've got, any chair, it will go around. I've even had it in my buggy, going around kind of the bit of the stroller when we've been on holiday. It is very, very versatile, and when they're in their high chair, it completely stops all the food from falling everywhere. So it's basically catching it there, where it straps underneath the high chair, and it does its job. It's utterly amazing. Here is our new design that we've bought just recently, because I have invested in loads of them. I think I've got about 8 now. So this is the gorgeous new dinosaur and truck one, and there it is. These, honestly, I would say if there's one thing that you get, it is these. Don't get any other bibs. These work so well. I take them out with us, and like I say, it just minimizes that mess really, really noticeably. I really hope that me showing you some of the kind of weaning essentials that I use with Grayson have helped you out. If you've got anything that you have used or are currently using that you want to shout about, please do pop it in the comments below. I would love to hear. If this was helpful, please give it a like, and remember to subscribe to my channel for lots more from me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!